right, welcome in to our next edition of Wilson Live. It's been another few minutes since our last one. I can't believe we're right here at the end of the school year.
Yeah.
There's still a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the importance of that little bit, but glad that we get to spend a few minutes just kind of catching back up, wrapping things up. But before we do, as always, huge thanks to our good friends, Gina and Lena. This episode is brought to you by Gina and Lena, your trusted real estate team with Coldwell Banker Southern Realty, with over 30 years of combined experience and a background as former teachers with Wilson County Schools. Gina and Lena bring unmatched dedication, communication, and care to every client. Whether you're buying, selling, or just exploring your options, they'll guide you with the heart of a teacher and the knowledge of seasoned professionals. Ready to make your next move? Contact Gina and Lena at Coldwell Banker Southern Realty. I got to have lunch with Gina at Leadership Wilson a couple weeks ago. Gina her group has graduated from Leadership Wilson, and her group actually has started a Wilson County Arts Council.
Really?
So excited to be a part of that as we grow the offering for arts here in Wilson County.
It is. I mean, of course, the two very special ladies. They're
of course,
and just lovely in every way, and we've gotten to get to know them so much better over time. But they're huge supporters of arts, educators, and of course, they'd love to see you get into a home that you like.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
How you been?
Man, I've been good. Good. Baby's good. Family's good.
Yeah.
Work it's May. I don't know how April was the fastest month of the year.
Yes.
So everything is kind of a blur right now, but we're good. How about you? How are you?
Doing good. You know, I think a lot of families out there would agree when you get past spring break and you kind of feel like that's a long stretch as you get through spring break and then the month of April. And then when May gets here, I'm telling you, it goes so fast. You look up and you see the district calendar and you're like, whoa. A little over 2 weeks, and guess we're wrapped up. So
yeah, and that's
hard to believe.
As I continue to adjust to this year-round calendar, that's been something I've had to grasp as well, because my brain has sort of turned off that last day of school mentality because I don't have that anymore. So it is really easy for me to look up at that calendar and go, oh gosh, all the things I have to do before these teachers are really hard to get in touch with for a while.
They are. So what Carter and I want to do today is we want to touch briefly on some kind of those special May moments within our school year calendar. We know we'll touch on graduations here in just a minute. So if you're a parent of a first-time senior graduating, you may get the Kleenex here shortly. If you're in multiple rounds of children that have already graduated, you're like, thank goodness, another one off into the wild, wonderful world of young adulthood. And then we want to give a well-deserved shout out to all the incredible mothers, grandmothers, those aunts that chip in, and any woman of influence, of positive influence on our students each and every day, not only through the school year, but every day of the year. We want to touch on that, rightfully so. And we'll get to that in a few moments. Carter, we have a few big points to just talk about. One of them being the top job in the district. It is the leader, the director of schools. As many of you know, Mr. Jeff Luttrell announced earlier this year that this would be it for him. Coming up June 30th would be his last day, so he gave plenty of notice about that. So the process began to search for our new director of schools to take over on July 1st. It's been, anybody who's familiar with that process, it is very extensive. It's very public. And that certainly requires people who are interested to put their name out there to say that they are interested. Well, meanwhile, they're largely working in another school in another leadership capacity. Or another district, so they become aware, that person's interested in a director job with Wilson County Schools. We had some incredible candidates apply, got down to a top 5. Those interviews were last week. Now it's come down to the top 2, and it will be voted on within the next few weeks, but those top 2 interviews are next week, and they are Mr. Jonathan Duncan. He is elementary principal in Sumner County. In fact, he is the principal, I want to make sure I got this right, at Madison Creek Elementary in Goodlettsville. So he's part of Sumner County Schools. And the other one is a familiar name to many of us within the district, Mr. Travis Mayfield, who currently serves as a deputy director for operations. He is in the final 2 candidates as well. So we look forward to those interviews. I know a lot of people will be tuning in to the recordings after those interviews will follow. It's a very important position, needless to say, but two very well qualified men who have made it to the top two, and we will see how it shakes out and the board's decision on that hire. I know that you have listened in on some of those interviews, and of course, both of the top two, Mr. Mayfield and Mr. Duncan, obviously some great points to make during their top 5 round last week and advancing on. But I know you paid attention to those interviews as much as I did.
Yeah, a little bit. So, that's one of the perks of the flexibility of my day is I can work to schedule things as needed. And so that day I had some meetings throughout the day, but was able to pop in and out of some of those interviews and was really blown away by the preparedness of all of the candidates, but also, the heart that they have, not just for our students, but also for our teachers and our staff. That was demonstrated time and time again in those, in their responses. And, as we work down to these last 2, I trust that the same is going to be plenty evident as they get this extended time. So what was it? Last week they had probably about a 45-minute to an hour interview.
It shook out to about an hour overall, but now the final 2 interviews will go upwards to around 2 hours increments. And so, and will the whole time be used? I mean, perhaps, maybe not, just to see how those things shake out. But these interviews, they are before a board. They are in the boardroom. It's open to the public. The recordings are released. This is not like just interviewing for any type of job. It's you are really in a chair sitting, looking before, at current a 6-member board, but also you have people behind you, and then people will be watching the recordings later. So there's a lot of you got to dig deep in these interviews.
Oh, it's to be that public facing in that interview that's scary. That's super scary. You don't know what's going to be asked.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can read just some of the highlights of what's happening in our county and maybe guess at some things. I think the insurance topic would have been a pretty easy guess. But that's daunting. That's daunting to walk in and know you're sitting in front of that panel. That's a lot.
The environment, the surroundings, you just kind of gotta focus in and just answer questions as the best you can. But just applaud. We had all the candidates the top 5. They all did fantastic. But we're down to a 2 with Mr. Duncan and Mr. Mayfield, and we'll see how it plays out. And that I'll keep you updated on that process as we go along. But more information coming next week, and then the week after, and throughout the process. So. Thank you all who have been interested in that engagement and knowing who your new director of schools will be. That's very important. And so thank you to all of you who have been in tune to that. That's an important piece.
And as always, as community members, the things you can be doing right now is communicating with your board members. We have a board that is super open to communication from the community, and they want to hear from you. They need to hear from you. So as you hear things, as you think of things, make sure that you reach out to your board member and give your opinion. They want to hear from you. They support that communication line. So just make sure, even in the busyness of right now, not only is it busy for us, it's election season, it's everything. So just make sure you are, as a community member, if you want to feel heard, you're going to feel heard.
Also, too, to point out that, I'm sure most people, know this, but public comment is very welcomed at our meetings. So if you have something you want to go before the board, bring up an issue that you're thinking about, please bring that before the board at a scheduled board meeting. So all of that's there for you to get involved, be engaged, voice your opinion, and be part of the process. So great opportunities there. Another great opportunity is our seniors coming up. It is graduation season, and Carter, next week I have the pleasure of speaking at the graduation of our adult high school.
Great.
That is going, and I'm looking forward to that. Those are our students who have circumstances in life take us in different directions, and each one of these students has a story to tell, and part of that story is coming back to earn their GED. And there is, and I think that takes a leap of faith, a leap of courage. It takes a lot of encouragement from not only those closest to them, but them having the willingness to want to do that. So I admire and respect all of those graduates that I will have the pleasure of speaking to briefly at their graduation, the adult high school graduation set for next week. But and that's the one that kicks everything off. And then I know you've kind of got the schedule here of graduation ceremonies. I know the Murphy Center on the campus of MTSU is kind of the headquarters for a lot. You have several of our graduations, but also there's a few that are on site as well. I think just
Sure.
Watertown.
So next week we've got Barry Tatum Academy.
Yes.
They graduate on the 12th at 6 p.m. at the Expo Center.
Correct.
Then we've got the Adult Learning Center
Yes.
on the 14th.
Yes.
At Fairview Church here in Lebanon. Then Watertown, the 21st of May, 7 p.m. That's our on-site. That's
on
at
campus,
Watertown.
right.
Is that on their football field?
Traditionally, it is.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it is. And if rain becomes part of the situation, then I'm sure they have a nice backup plan.
Peace be with Mr. Brown as they manage that.
He's actually running on a good stretch of weather. I know last year was absolutely gorgeous. So, so anyway, we'll see.
We'll get some more of the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be great, Watertown. And then Mount Juliet High School, the 22nd. Is that a Friday? Let's see.
A quick calendar check, I believe. I just want to make sure we have accurate information on days. That is 22nd is indeed 22nd.
22nd. So that Friday night at 6 p.m. at MTSU in the Murphy Center. Then Lebanon High School, Green Hill High School, Wilson Central. The next day, Lebanon at 10 a.m., Green Hill at 2 p.m., Wilson Central at 6 p.m., all at MTSU at the Murphy Center.
Yeah.
You know, I think the one thing that I would encourage those families to do is make sure you're reading communication from your schools. There's going to be specific details about all, 7 graduations?
Yeah.
And they're all going to be different.
Yeah.
So just make sure you're in tune to the emails that are coming from your school's principals or newsletters. That way you know where to park, what you can and can't bring. I'm sure MTSU has a clear bag policy right now. Make sure that you're abiding by that. I remember last year there were some questions about flowers. I'm sure those questions will all be answered in those emails. Just make sure you're reading those. That way when you get to Murfreesboro on the 22nd and the 23rd or Watertown on the 21st, that you are
prepared.
You don't have to walk all the way up to the entrance just to walk all the way back to your car. Because as someone that has had to do that before, I promise those security and event management folks are super particular about how those events run. And we're thankful for that. Just make sure that you're reading those instructions so you don't have to have an awkward encounter.
Right. It's like, oh my goodness, I can't take this in, I can't do that. Great point there, Carter. Athletic wise, we have middle school teams, high school teams, still alive and in postseason play and just all across the board. So any support you can offer those teams is always very welcomed. It's an exciting time of year as spring fling gets nearer for high school, and hopefully some of our teams can advance to state tournament play and all of that. So keep that in mind as well. Are spring shows mostly wrapped up right now?
Yeah. So, and that's the unique thing about all of our calendars is everybody's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our big high school productions at this point have wrapped up, but they've still got little things going on here and there. There's still lots of concerts happening. There's some art shows next week. There's tons of stuff happening. And I think as we talk about athletics and all those other events, we talked a minute ago about graduation information. The best thing to do is to read that newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that email from the principal gets really long this time of year.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff. And we know that the stuff outside of school is just as busy as the stuff inside of school. So just make sure you take a couple of minutes and read those newsletters. You know, one big thing we've got going on right now for our theater students are the Spotlight Awards. You know, last year we were able to feature James Nelson, who was the recipient of the Lead Performer Award, which is a state recognition through TPAC and the Spotlight Awards. This year we have 2 nominees for that award.
That's great.
And those will be selected, I think it's the 24th, it's a Sunday, the 24th at the Spotlight Awards show, where we've also got tons of other nominations for all sorts of different things that are happening. So all of that to say, if I was to read the calendar of what is happening right now, we'd be here until the end of school. So just make sure you're in tune to your students' programs or your student schools. That way we know everything that's happening.
Anything else schedule-wise that you want to mention? Because we'll turn the page over to some appreciations that we want to share, not only for the moms, but a very special week that is happening right now, not only here in our district, but across the state, across the nation. You have anything else you want to mention?
No, I don't think so. I'm sure we have forgotten something, and that is what it is. We're going to do what we can to remind everyone about as much as we can. But I think
I think you hit the nail on the head. Those emails that come out from your school's admin on all the HAPs and things, and a lot of busy. May is super busy. Just stay in tune to your email, communication, especially for our senior parents and all that stuff that comes with, and graduation's coming shortly. You've probably already gotten some things already. Just stay in tune to any communication, and it will be well worth your look, because just don't miss anything.
Yep.
It's a lot. Okay, so moving over to gratitude for a lot of things, and let's start with first things first. Teacher Appreciation Week. A lot of schools, some have kind of celebrated in other ways, like maybe earlier in the school year, because May is busy in a lot of our schools, but to recognize teachers. But just we could go on and on about the appreciation we do have for teachers, not only here, but everywhere, for all that they do each and every day. I've said this before I got into this role 7 years ago. I really thought I knew what teachers did, and it turns out I had no idea. And Carter, you being a former educator, you'll always be an educator at heart. There's no question, but telling your teacher or your child's teacher thank you, or just telling any educator thank you for all that they do, goes a long way. The encouragement that they get for all that they do, it's endless. It takes that support. They appreciate it, and we appreciate all of our teachers and our EAs, anybody that has an influence on a student every day inside our schools. Thank you so much for all that you do. It is the most heartfelt thank you. It comes from, at least in my heart, with extreme depths of gratitude. I have 2 elementary age children, and I just don't, and again, I can just talk about their teachers and how much they, have helped them along the way. But thank you, teachers, so for everything.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing over the last week has been seeing all of the pictures and the videos from the different ways that our teachers have been appreciated. Our community.
Our local food trucks and dessert trucks and drink trucks, they're getting quite it's a good week for them.
There's all sorts of examples of ways that the community has been giving back to not just our teachers, but the staff and the nurses, everybody. I'm thankful that our community continues to step up and support those, because you're right. As a parent of a kindergartner, I am so abundantly thankful for all of the people that have an impact on the day-to-day growth that she is going through right now. We do all of the things at home, but we also know that from 7 to 2 or whatever that time is, she's in that classroom growing and learning because of the work that her teacher is doing and all of the support around that teacher. It's all of the other classes that they get to go to. It's the music, it's the art, it's the PE, it's the STEM, it's the library, it's the computer, it's all of it. It's the EAs that are coming into the classroom. We've talked about it a lot on this podcast. I remember talking about it with Mr. Luttrell several months ago. The village that it takes for a school to operate is huge, and that's all to support every single kid in those classrooms. We can't say thank you enough. And, community members, parents, the easiest way for you to thank a teacher is to just say thank you. Teachers love the meals. They love the gifts. But that simple, and not just during Teacher Appreciation Week, that random, hey, my kid came home and was super excited about this. Thank you for what you did. That goes a really, really long way, especially in an email inbox that is inundated with schedules and data and not so happy people, that thank you goes a super, super long way. And we'll just continue to show the appreciation, not just 1 week of the year, but year round.
Piggybacking off of that, so many of our educators, so many of our teachers are also mothers. And this is Mother's Day weekend coming up. Wow. I mean, that's to all the moms out there. Again, we're saying all the moms, the grandmothers, those aunts that step in, those any woman of positive influence on any of our children that help out in any way. Just thank you so much. I think I've been thinking about my mom a lot lately. I think about my wife and our children. My wife is an incredible mother to our children. And we're in the season of, 2 young children, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old. So it's, there's never a dull moment for sure. And, so anyway, it's just a special time to honor mothers for all that they do, not only this weekend, but hey, mothers are appreciated all year long. And also too, for the mothers who are no longer with us. And I know some, many can identify with that they miss their moms if they've passed on or whatever. So just know that we're thinking of you in that capacity, but also for those who have that special woman in their life who has been their mother or their mother figure or whatever the case may be. The moms are to be celebrated.
Oh, very much so.
Oh my goodness, I can think of my household growing up. I mean, I'm one of 4 children.
Wow.
And man, mom went through a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I can promise you that I continue to put my mom through a lot. So
yeah.
You're right. Super thankful for all of those figures, and I know Mother's Day looks different for everyone. For some people, we go to church together, and Brady is really good to recognize all of the different ways that moms and women impact the lives of all of us, but also recognizing that Mother's Day can be a tough day for some.
Sure can.
So thankful for the impact that we continue to feel or that we've experienced beforehand. I think to my wife, who is also a teacher, and think about the impact that a lot of our teachers have, not just as a mom at home, but as a mom at school.
Yeah.
It is not. It probably is cliche to say that a classroom is a family, but in a lot of cases, these teachers are our second, third, fourth parents to some of our kids, just because of the experience and the time they spend with them. So, thankful for our biological moms and our earned mothers, but also thankful for the teachers that get to act as parents.
They do.
Throughout a school day, throughout a school year, throughout, for some of our high school teachers and our elementary and middle school teachers too, over the course of several years. We've got teachers that get to be around some of these kids for multiple years. I think about a lot of the teachers that I get to work with. They get to watch these students grow across a longer amount of time, but the impact that all of these mothers have and that all of these women have is astounding, and they do things that we can't do, right? There are some things that we are good at. There are some things that I would never try and step into the role of a woman and take that from them, because they're going to do it a whole lot better than I can.
Well said. So again, thank you to the moms for all that you do each and every day, and to my mom for putting up with someone like me for so many years. But thank you. Carter, do you have anything else as we kind of close the door out on today and just kind of wind this down? But we certainly wanted to show appreciation for not only our teachers, but for all the moms and mother figures out there.
Yeah, don't forget that just because school is ending doesn't mean it's ended.
That's correct.
I think that is a great reminder for a lot of our students. Just because the month is the 5th month of the year doesn't mean all of a sudden, as soon as we get into May, we stop coming to school or we stop engaging in school. This is the most important time of year as things wind down, as things feel like maybe I don't have to go to school today. Today's the most important for you to go to school.
Attendance matters.
Very much so.
Up to the very end. So, yes, the weather is largely very nice this time of year, and there's a lot of things going on and a lot of distractions, but finishing strong on attendance. Anyone in our educational leadership would tell you that's extremely important. So let's finish strong on that front. Testing season is basically in the books, but there is still some things going on inside our school that's going to help children in the teaching and learning capacity. So attendance to the very end, just make that conscious effort to make sure that your child, barring not sick, you don't want your sick child to come. In fact, I have a sick child home today that was a group decision. It's better off not to spread that to someone else. But I think everybody knows what we're talking about here. Healthy child means let's have a healthy day at school.
Amen.
So anything else?
No.
Well, Carter, thank you so much. Carter Noblin, I don't think we said those the front end, but Carter Noblin, our district's fine arts coordinator, and Bart Barker, the public information officer with Wilson County Schools. It's a pleasure for us to bring you these podcasts, and we will just keep rolling on. Even when school does wind down at the end of the month, we'll be doing more of these throughout the summer. But I will tell you that as we look towards next school year, you're going to be getting a lot more knowledge about our podcast, a lot more information about the upcoming school year and all those things. Don't worry about that right now, but we will certainly make a point to get you set and ready to go for the upcoming school year in late July. And of course, we'll get through the Independence holiday and all of that. But after that, it is game on. It is ready to go for next school. Let's do it. So be on the lookout for that. Even though school's winding down, Carter and I we'll keep talking. So for Carter, I'm Bart. Have a wonderful weekend. Again, thank you to all the mothers out there. Celebrate, enjoy it, and we will catch up with you again very, very soon. That's it for Wilson Live on this episode. Again, we'll talk to you again very, very soon.